Hi guys, it is now closing in on midnight on Sunday night. Another exciting Sunday night has come and gone in the former paradise of South Austin, Texas. That would be Sunday night, October 7th, but already it is in the minds of the United Nations, I guess, it is already Monday morning somewhere on the planet, October 8th, 2018, which will go down as in infamy as well. Just one more day of descending into an absolute, just, you know, chest deep, well, hell, over your head pile of unadulterated horse shit. And I want to thank Osama number 5 for giving me indigestion right before bed. You know, I was getting ready to write the 3rd obituary for alert former tribes member Andy Gardner, who has tragically left us again. And I was ready, just sitting down to write my 3rd obituary. Andy's starting to sound like, you know, is it Kenny on South Park, who keeps getting killed over and over again. So Andy is dead again, but I'm going to save that obituary, that sad tale of Andy's parting, for another day, because we have an emergency press release. It is official from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. The IPCC has come out with their long-awaited report, their long-awaited summary for policymakers of IPCC special report on global warming of 1.5 degree. 1.5 degrees C approved by governments. Okay, it is official, so without any dilution or varnish from the mainstream media, let's hear it directly from the horse's ass, the IPCC. We got the brand new no shit Sherlock button ready to have a race with the bullshit detected button. I love it when I get to pick up both buttons at the same time, and if there's anything that has come across my radar where you need to have both buttons in your hand, we're going to start with the little button. Limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees C would require rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes in all aspects of society.
No shit, Sherlock.
Followed by,
bullshit detected.
the
Take precautions.
IPCC said in a new assessment, with clear benefits to people and natural ecosystems, limiting global warming to 1.5 C compared to 2 C. They don't even talk about 3, 4, and 5 C, nowhere mentioned, could go hand in hand with ensuring a more sustainable and equitable society. Yes. The IPCC said on Monday, yes, the special report on global warming of 1.5 degrees C was approved by the IPCC on Saturday in Incheon, Republic of Korea. It will be a key scientific input into the Katowice Climate Change Conference in Poland in December, when governments review the Paris Agreement to tackle climate change.
Warning, bullshit alert.
This is, yes, I'm gonna skip over this quote from the chair of the IPCC. Anyway, moving on. 91 authors and review editors from 40 countries prepared the IPCC report in response to an invitation from the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change when it adopted the Paris Agreement in 2015. All right, here is the full name of the report. Global warming of 1.5 degrees C, an IPCC special report on the impacts of global warming of 1.5 C above pre-industrial levels and related global greenhouse gas emission pathways in the context of strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change, sustainable development, and efforts to eradicate poverty. Of course, every single effort to eradicate poverty results in more greenhouse gases being spewed into the atmosphere, and it makes an even bigger joke out of the oxymoron of the 21st century, which would be sustainable development. Yes, the full name is Descent into the Ninth Ring of Bullshit. All right, this is Pan Mao Zai, co-chair of one of these little working groups. Quote, one of the key messages that comes out very strongly from this report is that we are already seeing the consequences of 1 degree C of global warming through more extreme weather, rising sea levels, and diminishing Arctic sea ice, among other changes.
No shit, Sherlock.
The report highlights a number of climate change impacts that could be avoided by limiting global warming to 1.5 C compared to 2 degrees C or more. For instance, by 2100, global sea level rise would be 10 centimeters lower, with global warming of 1.5 C compared to 2 C. The likelihood of an Arctic Ocean free of sea ice in summer would be once per century, with global warming of 1.5 degrees C, compared with at least once per decade with 2 degrees C. Coral reefs would decline by 70 to 90% with global warming of 1.5 degrees C.
No shit, Sherlock.
Whereas virtually all, more than 99% of coral reefs would be lost with 2 degrees C. This is Hans Otto Portner, another one of these little lying sacks of shit from the IPCC. Quote, every extra bit of warming matters, especially since warming of 1.5 degrees C or higher increases the risk associated with long-lasting or irreversible changes, such as the loss of some ecosystems.
No shit, Sherlock.
Limiting global warming would also give people and ecosystems more room to adapt and remain below relevant risk thresholds, added Portner. The report also examines pathways available to limit warming to 1.5 degrees C.
That was bullshit.
What it would take to achieve them,
No shit, Sherlock.
and what the consequences could be.
No shit, Sherlock.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to listen to Valerie Mason Delmotte. Yet another one of these ayahuasca quaffing, brain dead, lying sacks of shit from the IPCC. Okay. The good news is that some of the kinds of actions that would be needed to limit global warming to 1.5 C are already underway around the world. But they would need to accelerate.
No shit, Sherlock.
The report finds that limiting global warming to 1.5 C would require rapid and far-reaching transitions in land, energy, industry, buildings, transportation, and cities.
No shit, Sherlock.
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
Global net human-caused emissions of carbon dioxide would need to fall by about 45% by 2030, reaching net zero around 2050.
Warning, bullshit alert.
This means that any remaining emissions would need to be balanced by removing CO2 from the air.
That was bullshit.
So here's yet another one of these lying sacks of shit, knowing goddamn well how fucked we are. These chicken shit little fuckers. You know, I honestly don't know what this is all about. I guess this is like, you know, when Copernicus was getting ready to be executed for whatever his crimes were or whatever. I don't know what's going through these idiots' heads. So anyway, what does Jim Scaya have to say about it? Quote, limiting warming to 1.5 degrees C is possible within the laws of chemistry and physics.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
But doing so would require unprecedented changes,
Bullshit level.
No shit, Sherlock.
allowing the global temperature to temporarily exceed or overshoot 1.5 C would mean a greater reliance on techniques that remove CO2 from the air to return temperatures to below 1.5 C by 2100.
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
The effectiveness of such techniques are unproven at large scale, and some may carry significant risks for sustainable development, the report notes.
No shit, Sherlock.
Okay, who's next? Piradarshi Shukia, another one of these lying sacks of shit. Okay. Limiting global warming to 1.5 C compared with 2 degrees C would reduce challenging impacts on ecosystems, human health, and well-being, making it easier to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Just in case you guys are not aware of this, every one of these lying sacks of shit, every one of these motherfuckers knows goddamn well that every single thing in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, well, just the very notion of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is hilarious on such a black, dark comic level. Well, they understand that, you know, but they, more importantly, every one of these fuckers understands that the development goals, everything in those, would only increase global warming on this planet. But most importantly is every one of these fuckers knows goddamn well there is zero chance that we're going to stick to this 1.5 degree target, not to mention the 2 degree target. Every damn one of these lying sacks of shit know this. And I assume every one of these goddamn mainstream media editors parroting this lying pile of shit know damn well the lies that they're just putting out there all over the fucking mainstream media tomorrow. Okay. Let's see, where was I in the middle of all of this crap? Okay. The decisions we make today are critical in ensuring a safe and sustainable world for everyone, both now and in the future. That was Deborah Roberts. Okay, continuing with the lying sack of shit, Deborah Roberts, quote, "This report gives policymakers and practitioners the information they need to make decisions that tackle climate change while considering local context and people's needs."
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
If you don't understand what local context and people's needs means, that means the need for more air conditioners is what they're talking about. The need for more cars. The local context in this context is the locality of India, the locality of China, the locality of Brazil. Those local context and people's needs to spew more and more of this shit into the air. Returning to Deborah the lying sack of shit. The next few years are probably the most important in our history.
No shit, Sherlock.
So who is the IPCC? The IPCC is the leading world body for assessing the science related to climate change, its impacts, and potential future risks, and possible response options.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Alright. Blah, 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 blah. So what is the Paris Agreement? The Paris Agreement, adopted by 195 nations in December 2015, included the aim of strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change by holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees C above pre-industrial levels.
Oh, now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
And pursuing efforts to limit the temperature increases to 1.5 degrees C above pre-industrial levels.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yeah, so as part of that decision, a special report on global warming of 1.5 C above pre-industrial levels was invited. Yes. The IPCC accepted the invitation, adding that the special report would look at these issues in the context of strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change, sustainable development, and efforts to eradicate poverty.
That was bullshit.
Oh, God. Anyway, there you have it. If you want to read this bullshit for yourself, I will put the link on here to it if I can remember. But I want to thank Osama number 5 for what? What have you done, Osama number 5? Here at midnight on a Sunday night. I'm going to go back to Pile of Fish dating service to get away from this madness. I'm going to go look for some intelligent conversation on Pile of Fish dating service after weathering this fucking the moat of bullshit. Jesus fucking Christ. Get me out of here. Are you ready to go to bed, little dog? We are so fucked, and the goddamn IPCC knows it as well as I do. Bye, guys.